Hey, welcome back to my channel. My day started like any other day, just heading to the lathe, getting some food for the birds, and I thought I was gonna have a fun day making something cool, but progressively things started to go wrong, and there was a lot to be learned in this video. So yeah, hang around and I will share every bit of it with you. So I had a chunk of butternut that a friend of mine had given me, so I thought I'm gonna see if I can get a piece with all the bark and make a live edge bowl. So I chainsaw the thing, and so one of the things that I want to emphasize that I learned. So this was my first time turning butternut. If you're turning the same kind of type of wood, or the same hardness of the wood, you will develop a way of how much you push, how much pressure you put on your gouge, and so on. And in this case, butternut is I discovered is very soft. So a lot of my mistakes were because I was putting either more pressure or feeding. By putting more pressure on the gouge, it will cause to either feed faster than it should, or to go deeper than I wanted on a cut. And so that's something that I realized afterwards, and I thought it's worth mentioning because we all learn from each other. So here I'm starting this out. I don't usually leave the whole thing because it's just boring, getting it to shape. Having said that, the next section that I cut to is my final pass, and I leave that in real-time speed because I want you to get a sense for the speed of feed and the angle that I'm cutting in order to get a very smooth pass. So this clip here is in real time, and I will start slow because the smaller diameter, you're basically cutting a lesser speed. Here down the center part, you can speed up your feed a bit more because as the diameter gets bigger, you're cutting a more speed. And here towards the end, sometimes I do it backwards, but in this case I'm going all the way. But I'm going really slow and steady because I don't want to rip out the bark. And that's pretty much my final cut. There was a couple lines that were easily sandable. This is my famous one-shot tenon that I do with a 40-40 gouge. I love doing that. They come out perfect. There's never any gaps or anything, which gives me the confidence not to use a tailstock right off the bat. I'm not saying you should. I'm just telling you what I do. So here starts the beginning of my problems. This includes this thing flying off the lathe, by the way. Just in case you think of bailing, you can go to the end and watch that if you don't want to watch the whole thing. But so here I kind of I messed up in a sense. Like, I've done this before, and I figured, hey, that's what I'm at. I'm gonna leave it at that. But here, basically, my thickness was not consistent, and when you're doing a live edge bowl, you wind up with the wings thicker than the lower part if you don't get the right angle going in. So I kind of messed that up, and here I'm trying to fix it. If this happens to you, you have to do it fairly quick because wet wood starts to get out of run very fast. So if you want to make a correction, you have to do it right there on the spot. You shouldn't try to be doing it later. And as you can see, still the top of the wings are thicker than what the lower wings are gonna be. So I figured I'll give it one more try. And here I almost got a catch. Yeah, there. And so what happens here is another mistake, I guess. If you can see the gouge is has a removable handle, and I don't tie it up too much, so it's easier for me to swap them from one to the other. And when I almost got a catch, it actually got loose, which it changes the angle of your cut, and you can run into problems with that. So that's another thing I learned. Don't be stupid, just tie the thing properly all the time. So I got that better, but I still wasn't happy with it. Subsequently, I tried it again at the very end, and I did fix it. But I mean, I kind of got away with it. I'm not sure if it's in the video or no, but here I'm giving it one more try. And this is a no-no, by the way. I'm just being stubborn, as like I really wanted to nail this right. And here is a part where I guess I'm used to certain pressure with other woods. So subsequently, as much as I did fix it, I created some fairly deep lines that I had to sand later. You know, sometimes you watch videos and it looks like everything is perfect. It's not. And I don't mind sharing my mistakes, because that's how we learn. So here I'm just getting to the bottom of it. It's usually, you know, three sections. I stop just before the bottom, and I switch to either a bottom of the bowl gouge or a 60-degree swept back. In this case, it's a 60-degree swept back. I took that off, and because it was wet, I put an incandescent light, like a 100-watt light bulb, and I left it there for like 3 days. Well, I sanded it, I give it a coat of oil, and now we're gonna remove the bottom. And here's the remainder of my problems. Unbeknownst to me, I'm using a vacuum chuck, and it works with a compressor, so you hear air running. But unbeknownst to me, the box for the vacuum inverter was leaking, which meant that it was able to hold the piece, but not the way it should, with the suction that it should. So as you will see, there's a part here where this piece flies off the lathe. But essentially, in trying, I had a line there, a pencil line. I don't know if you saw it at the beginning. That mark where my bottom is going to be, because you know you're not able to look inside once you're in this situation. So I usually make this. This should be a pull cut. This type of cut here will give you tear out, but I usually, because this has more material in one shot, I'm not able to do the curve that I want. I do it this way, and then I will shear scrape all the tear out that this will cause, because this is an unsupported grain cut. So it's not the right thing to do. I do it first, but then understanding that I will fix it, which that's what I'm doing. No, that's not what I'm doing there. I don't think I included that part. But anyways, so what happens is I decided, to my luck, I guess, I decided to make a bead at the bottom of this bowl, which meant that I have to create a lip and then remove some of the inside. And right now the piece is being held with a tailstock, and my vacuum inverter is off. So when I get to the knob part, I usually remove the tailstock, like I turn the vacuum on first. So here's a part where I actually posted this on Facebook, believing that I got a catch, but now as I'm editing this video and I understand better what happened, and plus I know that my vacuum is broken. So I thought that this happened because I got a catch here. I just let this happen. So yeah, that was no fun. My reaction. So to break it down, if you look at two things, first of all, the white lines in the center going in and out, like pulsating, and if you see my gouge in my hand, you can see that somewhere along the line the knob starts to move back and forth in front of the gouge. So it's not a catch, it started to get loose. And I mean, this is all happened in a split of a second, but it'll be a good sign to back off at that point. Maybe it's a good thing that it happened this way, because if I noticed it and I tried to reach across to stop the lathe at the same time that the thing comes off, it could have cut my arm. So I'm okay with the way things went. So yeah. So since I had that bead that I was making, I figure I'll take advantage of that, and I put a different chuck, so it allowed me to center the bead, allowed me to kind of like put a chuck, not tight on it, just enough that it allowed me to recenter the thing. Because at this point, I believed I had a catch. I didn't know that that my vacuum was not working properly. So like an idiot, I put the thing right back. To my defense though, here when I remove this chuck, the vacuum is holding it, so there was no reason for me to believe otherwise. And I mean, the compressor is running in the background, and I can't really assess what's going on. Plus, in my head, I'm convinced that I had a catch. So I started working again on that bead, thinking, hey, you know, the bark didn't break, and let's just finish this thing off. So the other unbeknown thing to me is that even though the bark didn't break, the bead was broken. It was all like chipped, and there was not enough wood to like try to fix it. But I didn't look at it, so I went and reshipped the whole thing, and then I realized it, and so I decided to remove that and figured, okay, well, whatever. Here I'm sanding it, which it should have come off, but I guess because I'm putting pressure against it, it didn't come off. And here I'm putting walnut oil. Here's a realization as I'm doing this, the thing just falls right off. And that's when I finally figured out that it was not a catch, it was my vacuum. Well, couple things. Don't let bolts fly off your lathe, and then the other is practice where you preach. I sand this to 240, and instead of going all the way to 400, you can see it's sucking up more oil. So it's finished, but it's not perfectly smooth, and I guess this is the part where they hit the ground. But oh no, this is from just touching there. Never mind. So yeah, that concludes this flue of the late wood. But I got a chance to do it again because I'm working on another one here where my bark is now remaining, but I'm not recording that, that's just for fun. But yeah, this guy came out really nice. It's Butternut. Put my signature at the bottom and ship it out to nobody. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.